The day they demoted me still feels like a slap. One moment I was the lead project manager at Silverline Media, handling million-dollar campaigns. The next, I was called into the glass conference room like a child being scolded. Miranda, the CEO, sat at the head of the table with her cold smile. Her nephew, Tyler, stood beside her, grinning like he had already won something. "Lauren," she said, tapping her pen, "we've decided you'll be more useful as an assistant." My heart dropped. Assistant. After 3 years of building this company's biggest accounts, I worked late nights, skipped holidays, even trained new workers. Now they were handing my job to a trainee who barely knew how to write an email. Tyler smirked. "Don't worry. You can bring me coffee in the mornings." Everyone laughed. Everyone except me. I felt small and powerless, but something inside me refused to break. I clenched my jaw and nodded. "Fine," I said, even though my voice shook. As I walked out, people whispered, "I heard, she deserved it. And Miranda always chooses family." The injustice burned. I wanted to scream, but instead I took a deep breath. If they expected me to quit, they didn't know me at all. I would stay. I would watch. I would learn. And I would find out why they needed me out of that position so fast. Something didn't add up. My first day as assistant felt humiliating. I was given a tiny desk near the storage room, far from my old office with windows. My tasks included printing, scheduling, and yes, bringing Tyler coffee. He ordered the most complicated drink just to annoy me. But while he bragged about his new title, I watched. I noticed things others ignored. Important files that used to come through my email now went directly to him and Miranda. Meetings were suddenly private. Financial reports I used to handle vanished from the shared drive. And every time I walked into a room, the conversation stopped. They didn't just replace me. They were hiding something. One afternoon, I delivered documents to Miranda. She was on the phone, speaking in a low voice. "No, keep the transfers small," she hissed. "We can't risk attention." My heart sped up. Transfers. Attention. Money. When she noticed me, she snapped, "Don't you knock." I handed the papers and rushed out, but her words stuck in my head. Why would a media company worry about money transfers? Later, Tyler accidentally left his laptop open in the break room. I walked past, planning to ignore it, until I saw a folder labeled Special Accounts. My pulse raced. I knew I shouldn't, but curiosity pulled me closer. Before I could touch the mouse, Tyler walked back in. He slammed the laptop shut and glared. "What did you see?" "Nothing," I lied. His eyes narrowed. He didn't believe me. After that day, Tyler watched me like a hawk. He suddenly cared where I went, who I talked to, even how long I stayed in the restroom. It was obvious. They feared I knew something. That fear gave me power. While filing documents, I noticed a shipment invoice addressed to a warehouse outside the city. Silverline didn't deal with physical products. Why would we have a warehouse? The invoice totals were huge. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Signed by Miranda herself. My hands shook as I copied the numbers into my notebook. If I asked questions, they would shut me down, but if I gathered proof, I could expose them. That evening I stayed late, pretending to organize supplies. When everyone left, I slipped into the main office area. The building was quiet, lights dim. My footsteps echoed. I reached Miranda's office door. But I used to be project manager. I knew where the spare keys were kept. Inside her desk drawer, I found a USB drive labeled Consulting Fees. I plugged it into my workstation, heart racing. Files loaded slowly, like they were resisting me. Then I saw them. Hidden bank accounts, huge transfers, fake client names. My stomach twisted. This wasn't normal business activity. It looked like money laundering. Right as I clicked the last file, footsteps echoed down the hall. Someone was coming. I yanked the USB out and shut down the screen. If they caught me, I was done. I ducked behind the storage shelves, holding my breath. The footsteps stopped near my desk. Peeked through the gap. It was Miranda. She stood there silently, scanning the room. Her eyes were sharp, like she could see through walls. After a long moment, she turned and walked toward her office. I heard her curse softly when she realized the drawer had been opened. My heart pounded. She knew someone had been inside. When she finally left the building, I exhaled shakily and slipped out the back in trance. That night I barely slept. The files replayed in my mind. Fake companies, secret accounts, millions missing. If this leaked, Silverline would collapse. People would go to jail. And somehow they had pushed me out just before everything became risky. The next morning, Miranda called for a company meeting. Her smile was wide, but her eyes looked dangerous. "We will begin a huge new partnership," she announced. "This will take us to the next level." Everyone applauded except me. I recognized the partner name from the fake accounts. They were using the company to move illegal money. After the meeting, Miranda pulled me aside. Her voice was smooth. "I hope you're settling into your new role, Lauren." "I am," I said, forcing a smile. She leaned closer. "Good. Stay in your place, and you'll be fine." Fine. That confirmed it. They didn't demote me because I was weak. They demoted me because I was smart. Too smart. I spent the next week gathering clues carefully. I copied invoices, memorized passwords I saw over shoulders, and noted every suspicious conversation. I pretended to be the quiet, defeated assistant they wanted. Inside I was planning. One evening when Tyler rushed out for a family dinner, he forgot to log out of his computer. I slipped into his office, shut the blinds and sat down. My hands trembled as I opened the special accounts folder. This time I found more than fake transfers. There were scanned passports, shipping manifests, and coded messages. The warehouse invoice appeared again, but with a new document attached. A security schedule. Shipments arriving at midnight. What was being moved? Money. Drugs. Something worse. I clicked a file labeled Insurance. It wasn't insurance at all. It listed employees they planned to fire, everyone who had worked closely with finances, including me. They wanted to get rid of every witness. Suddenly, a chill ran through me. If they suspected I had evidence, I wouldn't just lose my job. They could destroy my life. I copied everything onto my own USB and slipped it into my pocket. As I stood to leave, the office door handle turned. Froze. The door opened slowly, and Tyler stepped inside. Tyler's eyes locked onto mine the moment the door opened. For a split second, neither of us spoke. His face twisted from surprise to suspicion. "What are you doing in my office?" he asked, voice low. My mind raced. I forced a nervous laugh. "You left your meeting schedule open. Miranda needed it." "I was just checking." His gaze slid to the computer screen, still glowing. The folder was closed, but the desktop looked slightly different. Had he noticed? He stepped closer, blocking the door. "You've been acting strange," he said. "Ever since the demotion." I shrugged, trying to appear small and harmless. "I'm just trying to keep my job." He studied me, searching for cracks. My heart hammered, but I held my breath, waiting. Finally he smirked. "Good. Because assistants are easy to replace." He brushed past me and sat at his desk, unlocking the screen. I slipped out quickly, keeping my pace steady until I reached the hallway. Only then did I let out the breath I'd been holding. My pocket felt heavy with the USB. One wrong move and everything would collapse. On my way back to my tiny desk, I overheard two managers whispering. "Warehouse shipment tonight," one said. "Midnight. High priority." The other replied, "Miranda said security will be doubled. No mistakes." My pulse sped up again. Whatever they were moving tonight was important. Maybe the biggest piece of the puzzle. If I could see what was inside that warehouse, I would finally know the truth. But going there could be dangerous. Still, I knew one thing. Had to go. That night, I sat in my tiny apartment, staring at the USB on my table. My mind spun with fear and excitement. If I went to the warehouse and got proof, I could expose everything. But if they caught me, push the thought away. I had already been pushed aside, humiliated, and treated like dirt. I refused to let them win. At 11:30 p.m., I dressed in dark clothes and tied my hair back. I grabbed my phone, a notebook, and quietly left the building. The streets were empty, the air cold. My hands shook as I drove toward the industrial area. The warehouse sat at the end of a long road, surrounded by tall fences. Bright lights glowed at the entrance, and 2 guards stood outside. I parked far away and approached on foot, staying hidden behind stacked crates and shadows. At midnight, a large truck arrived. The back doors opened, and several men unloaded heavy boxes. I pulled out my phone and started recording. One of the boxes slipped, breaking open slightly. My breath caught when I saw stacks of money wrapped in plastic. Millions. They weren't just moving money, they were hiding it. Suddenly, a flashlight beam swept across the yard. I ducked behind a crate, heart racing. The guard walked closer, his steps loud in the silence. If he turned left, he would see me. I held my breath, praying. After a long moment, he turned away. I exhaled shakily. I had proof now. But I wasn't leaving yet. I wanted more. I crept closer, staying low. A side door hung slightly open, and curiosity pulled me toward it. Inside, the warehouse was colder, filled with shelves and locked metal cages. The air smelled like dust and chemicals. I moved quietly, recording everything. Boxes labeled marketing material lined the walls, but the broken one showed the truth. They were using fake labels to disguise cash shipments. The back, I heard voices. I crouched behind a crate and peeked through a gap. Miranda stood there. Froze. She was speaking with a man I didn't recognize. Tall, expensive suit, sharp expression. "We need to move faster," he said. "The investigation is closing in." "Investigation?" Miranda hissed. "We paid them off. They won't find anything." "And what about the girl you demoted?" My heart stopped. Miranda smirked. "She's harmless. She's desperate to keep her job. She won't cause trouble." The man frowned. "Make sure of it." My stomach twisted. They saw me as weak, invisible. That gave me an advantage. But it also meant they wouldn't hesitate to destroy me if I became a threat. Suddenly, the man turned his head slightly. "Did you hear that?" I ducked lower, biting my lip to keep quiet. Footsteps approached. I scrambled backward, searching for an exit. My hand brushed a small door leading to the back. I slipped through it and closed it silently behind me. Outside again, I ran through the darkness, lungs burning. I had heard enough. This wasn't just money laundering. There was an investigation. And now I was in the middle of it. When I got home, I locked every door and window. My hands trembled as I plugged the USB into my laptop and transferred the warehouse videos. The images were clear. Guards, money stacks, Miranda, the mysterious man. This was huge. But I needed someone who could help me without betraying me. I thought about going to the police, but if Miranda had already paid people off, I could walk in and hand them my evidence. Only for it to disappear. I needed someone smarter. Someone outside the company. That's when I remembered Ethan. He used to work in IT at Silverline. He was fired months ago after questioning missing funds. Everyone said he was paranoid, but now I knew the truth. He had seen something. We weren't friends, but he always respected my work. I found his old number and sent a message. "Ethan, it's Lauren. Found something. I need help." For a long time there was no reply. I paced the room, replaying the warehouse conversation. Then my phone buzzed. "What did you find?" I hesitated, then typed, "Proof of money laundering." And more. 3 dots appeared. "Meet me tomorrow. Noon. Cafe on 5th. Don't bring company devices." My chest tightened. This was risky, but I needed him. The next morning at work, Tyler watched me again. He leaned on my desk. "You look tired," he said. "Rough night." My heart skipped. Did he somehow know? I forced a smile. "Just couldn't sleep." He smirked. Something in his eyes told me he suspected more than he let on. Cafe on Fifth was small and quiet. I arrived early, choosing a seat near the back where I could see the door. My nerves buzzed. Every person who walked in made me flinch. At exactly noon, Ethan entered. He looked older, tired, but his eyes sharpened when he saw me. He slid into the seat. "You shouldn't have contacted me," he said quietly. "I need help," I whispered. He leaned forward. "What did you find?" I handed him my USB. He plugged it into his laptop and scanned the files. His eyebrows rose. "This is worse than I thought," he said. "They're not just laundering money. They're connected to a major criminal network." My stomach dropped. "How do you know?" He tapped a file. "This man in the warehouse. His name is Victor Kane. He runs illegal operations overseas. If he's working with Silverline, the company is part of something huge." I swallowed hard. "There's more. They have a list of employees they plan to fire. Everyone who knows about finances." Ethan nodded. "That's what they did to me. They framed me for a data breach." My chest tightened with anger. "What do we do?" I asked. Ethan looked around cautiously. "We can't go to local police. They might be involved. We need federal investigators." Federal. That sounded terrifying. Before I could respond, Ethan's expression changed. His eyes widened. He whispered, "Don't look now, but someone has been watching us since you walked in." My blood turned cold. My heart slammed against my ribs. I kept my face calm, staring at my coffee, but my eyes flicked toward the window. Black car was parked outside. Tinted windows. Engine running. Someone sat inside watching. Ethan closed his laptop slowly. "We need to leave separately," he murmured. "If they think we're working together, we're done." Fear crawled up my spine. What if they follow us? Then we stay in public places. They won't risk making a scene. He slid the USB back to me. "Hide this. Don't take it to work." I slipped it into my boot, heart racing. We stood up casually, acting like nothing was wrong. Ethan walked out first. I waited a few seconds, then headed toward the exit. As the door opened, the car engine revved. I stepped onto the sidewalk, sunlight blinding me. The car didn't move, but I felt eyes burning into me. I walked quickly, trying to appear calm. My legs felt like jelly. Then a voice behind me said, "Lauren." I spun around. Tyler stood there. My stomach dropped. "What a surprise," he said with a fake smile. "Out for lunch." His tone was light, but his eyes were cold. Forced a nod. "Just coffee." He leaned closer. "Funny. I heard someone saw you near the warehouse last night." My blood froze. He knew. Before I could reply, he added quietly, "Be careful. Curiosity can get people hurt." Then he walked away. I stood there shaking. This wasn't just about my job anymore. My life was officially in danger. The walk back to the office felt like a nightmare. Every car that slowed made my heart jump. Every stranger's glance felt threatening. When I finally reached the building, I forced myself to breathe normally and walk like nothing was wrong. Inside, everything looked normal. People typing, phones ringing, printers humming, but I felt trapped. The walls felt closer. The lights felt harsher. At my tiny desk, I pretended to organize files while my mind spun. Tyler knew about the warehouse. Someone had followed me. Miranda was connected to a criminal network. And now Ethan and I were targets. At lunch, I received a message from an unknown number. "Don't trust anyone in that building." My hand shook. Was it a warning? A threat? Ethan. Another ally. Before I could reply, Miranda called me into her office. She smiled, but her eyes were ice. "Lauren, I've noticed changes in your behavior." I swallowed. "Just adjusting." She circled her desk slowly like a shark. "I want loyal employees. People who don't ask questions." She stopped in front of me. "You're not thinking about leaving, are you?" Leaving. She wanted to control me completely. If I quit, I might talk. If I stayed, they could watch me. "I need this job," I said softly. She studied me. I felt her searching for lies. Finally she nodded. Good. Stay focused. As I left, she added casually, by the way, security will be checking all personal devices starting tomorrow. My blood turned cold. They were closing in. That night, I tore apart my apartment, searching for anything that could link me to the investigation. I deleted files, hid notebooks, and tucked the USB deep inside a vent behind my bookshelf. If they searched my things, they wouldn't find it. But I couldn't shake a new fear. What if they went after Ethan? I messaged him. Are you safe? No reply. Minutes felt like hours. I paced the room, biting my nails. Finally a message came. Don't contact me again. They're watching. My stomach twisted. Did he mean to warn me, or was someone forcing him to send that? Barely slept. Every sound made me jump. At dawn I dragged myself to work. Security guards stood at the entrance with scanners and boxes. Device check, one said. Phones, laptops, tablets. My heart pounded. I handed over my phone, trying to look bored. The guard scrolled through it, then nodded and returned it. I kept walking, pretending everything was fine. But when I reached my desk, I froze. My drawers were open. Someone had searched my things. Papers were slightly out of place. Pens moved, a notebook shifted. They were looking for evidence. Tyler appeared behind me. Something wrong? He asked, smiling. Forced a laugh. Just messy cleaners. He leaned close to my ear. If you're hiding something, we'll find it. I sat down, hands shaking. They were not just suspicious anymore. They were hunting. By afternoon I knew I needed a plan. Waiting and hoping wasn't enough. If they were tightening security, the evidence I had might soon be useless. I needed backup, real backup. Federal investigators. The word alone scared me, but Ethan was right. This was bigger than one company. I searched online carefully, using private browsing, looking for ways to contact federal financial crime units without exposing myself. Most options required official reports, personal information, or direct contact. Too risky. Then I remembered something. Months ago, Silverline worked with a major journalist on a campaign. Investigative reporter. Honest. Her name was Claire Dawson. She exposed corrupt politicians. If anyone could help, she could. I found her professional email and hesitated. Sending evidence digitally could be traced. But sending nothing was worse. Instead, I typed a short message. I have information about illegal financial activity at Silverline Media. Lives may be in danger. If you're willing to hear more, meet me. I listed a public location and time. Then I deleted every trace. At 5 p.m., as I packed my things, Miranda approached. We're having a leadership dinner tonight, she said sweetly. We'd like you to attend. My heart skipped. Why invite the demoted assistant? Because they suspected me? Or because they wanted to trap me? I forced a smile. Of course. Inside, dread curled in my stomach. This dinner could be my chance to gather more information. Or the moment they silenced me. The restaurant was expensive, private, with dim lighting and quiet music. A long table held Silverline's top leaders. I felt out of place the moment I walked in, but I hid it behind a polite smile. Miranda greeted me with a kiss on the cheek, her perfume overwhelming. So glad you came, she said. Tyler smirked from across the table. I sat near the end where they could watch me. Dinner began normally. Small talk, fake laughter, but under the surface tension buzzed. I noticed subtle glances, whispered comments. Then Victor Kane walked in. The same man from the warehouse. My chest tightened. Why was he here, casually greeting everyone like a business partner? He took the seat beside Miranda. Good evening, he said smoothly. His eyes scanned the table and landed on me. Ah, he said, smiling. The assistant. I swallowed hard. Lauren. His smile widened, but it didn't reach his eyes. As food arrived, conversation shifted. I listened carefully. We need to move the final shipment soon, Victor murmured to Miranda. Before the investigation, she whispered back. Final shipment. Investigation. Time was running out. Then Victor said something that made my blood freeze. We should remove loose ends. Miranda replied quietly. Already being handled. I nearly dropped my fork. Loose ends. Employees with knowledge. Me. Suddenly Miranda raised her glass. To loyalty, she said, staring directly at me. Everyone lifted their glasses. I forced a smile, but inside panic surged. I needed to get out. I excused myself, claiming I needed the restroom. My legs wobbled as I walked away from the table. Once out of sight, I headed toward the back exit. If they noticed I was gone, they might stop me. The hallway was empty. I reached for the door handle. Hand grabbed my arm. I gasped and turned. It was a waiter. Miss, you dropped this, he said, handing me a folded napkin. Confused, I took it and slipped outside before anyone else could stop me. The cool air hit my face, and I hurried down the alley beside the restaurant, heart racing. When I reached the streetlights, I unfolded the napkin. Inside was a message. They know. Don't go home. My blood ran cold. Who wrote it? The waiter. Ethan. Claire. Someone else. I didn't have time to figure it out. If they knew where I lived, my apartment wasn't safe. I pulled out my phone to call a rideshare, but stopped. They could trace it. Instead, I walked quickly toward the bus station. Every shadow felt like someone watching. Every sound made me jump. At the station, I bought a ticket with cash and boarded the first bus leaving the city center. As it pulled away, I looked out the window. A black car turned onto the street near the restaurant. The same one from the cafe. They were looking for me. I pressed myself lower in the seat, heart pounding. I was officially running. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the warehouse, the rows of boxes, the forged signatures with my name, and Miranda's cold smile as she ordered her guards to move. She wanted me gone. Not fired, ruined. By morning I had a plan. If Miranda and Tyler forged documents under my name, I needed proof from inside the system. I needed something that couldn't be erased or blamed on me. So when I walked into the office, I didn't go to my tiny assistant desk. I went straight to IT. Ethan, the quiet tech guy who always ate lunch alone, almost spit out his coffee when he saw me. Lauren, you never come down here. I need help, I whispered. And if you help me, I can protect you too. He looked around nervously. Protect me from what? Miranda is using my employee access to cover illegal shipments, I said softly. If they get caught, they'll say I did it. They'll frame me. His face paled. They use my login sometimes. To move files. They said it was standard. I stared at him. Ethan, they're setting up both of us. He swallowed hard. Then he did something I didn't expect. He closed the blinds, locked the door, and rolled his chair closer. You didn't hear this from me, he whispered, typing fast. But there's a hidden server. Only Miranda, Tyler, and the CFO can access it. My heart jumped. A hidden server meant hidden records. Exactly what I needed. Can you get me in? He hesitated, then nodded. But if they find out, we're both dead career-wise. He leaned in. Not if we take them down first. Ethan's fingers flew across the keyboard, bypassing security layers like he'd done it 1,000 times. My hands shook as I watched lines of code scroll. How do you know all this? He asked. He shrugged. I built half the system. They don't pay me enough to care, but they pay me enough to be scared. Finally the screen flashed. Access granted. Miranda Von Vault. My breath caught. Ethan opened a folder labeled Client A. Special donations. Inside were scanned contracts, invoices, and something worse. Photos. Stacks of cash. Boxes filled with prescription bottles. Documents linking the company to illegal pharmaceutical shipments. Then I saw something that made my stomach twist. Approval signature. Lauren Parker. My own name forged perfectly. Ethan cursed under his breath. They've been prepping this for months. Felt dizzy. This wasn't just fraud. This was federal crime. Jail time crime. They're going to pin everything on me, I whispered. Ethan clicked another file, an email thread. Miranda to Tyler. Once the next shipment clears, we remove her. HR termination, legal report, public statement. She'll look guilty. Clean exit. I covered my mouth, trying not to cry. They plan to destroy me completely. Career gone. Freedom gone. Life gone. Ethan looked at me, terrified. Lauren, you need to run. For a moment I almost agreed. But then a new email notification appeared. From Miranda. Subject. Meeting today, 3 p.m. Final steps. Final steps, I repeated. Ethan whispered. She's going to frame you today. I stood slowly. No, I said, voice steady. She thinks she is. At 2:55 p.m. I walked toward the conference room. Heart pounding but steps steady. Everyone watched me. Whispers followed. She's in trouble. HR called her. Maybe she's getting fired. Kept my head high. If this was the trap, I needed to walk into it. Inside, Miranda sat at the head of the table. Perfect posture. Red lipstick sharp like a blade. Tyler lounged beside her, smug. The CFO, Mr. Grant, looked bored, flipping through papers. Lauren, Miranda said smoothly. Please sit. I did. She slid a folder toward me. We discovered fraudulent activity under your login. Illegal product movement, forged documents, unauthorized access to restricted warehouses. Her tone was calm, rehearsed. She'd practiced ruining me. We have no choice but to terminate your employment, she continued. And report this to authorities. Tyler smirked. Tough break. My chest burned, but I stayed silent. Miranda handed me a pen. Sign the admission statement, and we may consider leniency. I opened the folder. Inside was a confession, written as if I had created the smuggling operation myself. My hands trembled. Mr. Grant tapped the table impatiently. We don't have all day. I looked up at Miranda. You really think I'm stupid? Her eyes narrowed. Then I smiled and placed a small USB drive on the table. The hidden server says otherwise. Tyler froze. Miranda's mask cracked. What did you do? She whispered. Leaned back. I know everything. For the first time, Miranda lost her composure. She lunged forward, snatching the folder back. You have no proof. I tapped the USB. Full copies of every shipment record, every payment, every forged signature, including emails planning to frame me. Mr. Grant stiffened. Emails. He nodded. You might want to check who ordered those transfers. Miranda shot him a sharp look. She's bluffing. I shook my head. Ask Ethan. The room went dead silent. Mr. Grant's face drained of color. The IT kid. He has access. Not anymore, I said. He's already sent everything to an external backup. That was a lie, but they didn't know. Miranda stood abruptly, voice sharp. You think anyone will believe you over me? Yes, I said calmly. Especially since I sent the files to a federal contact this morning. Another lie. Tyler slammed his fist on the table. You're done. I met his glare. No, you are. At that moment, the conference room door burst open. Security entered. For a second, fear shot through me. Had Miranda already moved? But then the head guard spoke. Mr. Grant, federal agents are in the lobby. They want to speak with management. Miranda went pale. Mr. Grant looked like he might faint. Tyler swore under his breath. Understood. This meeting is over. And walked out. My legs shook, but I kept moving. The plan wasn't finished, but the power had shifted. For the first time they were scared. And it felt incredible. Chaos exploded behind me. Voices shouting. Footsteps rushing. Phones ringing. But I kept walking, heart racing with adrenaline and fear. Ethan met me in the hallway, eyes wide. Lauren, what happened? I pushed them into panic, I whispered. Now they'll make mistakes. He swallowed. The federal agents. Did you really contact them? No, I said. But someone else did. He blinked. Who? I pulled out my phone and showed him a message from an unknown number. Shipment flagged. Authorities alerted. Stay clear. Ethan stared. Who sent that? I shook my head. Someone inside the warehouse. Maybe the worker I talked to. Maybe someone they threatened. Whoever it was, they wanted the truth out. We reached the lobby just as agents entered. Badges visible. Employees scattered like frightened birds. Miranda appeared, trying to look calm, but her voice shook as she approached the agents. Welcome, how can I? Miranda Vaughn? One agent asked. Yes. You're under investigation for federal trafficking and fraud. We need to speak with you privately. Her face went blank. Tyler tried to slip away, but another agent blocked him. Sir, you'll need to come with us. Panic flashed in his eyes. For a moment, I stood frozen, watching the empire that crushed me begin to fall. Ethan whispered, You did it. I shook my head slowly. No, I said. This is only the beginning. Because I still had one more goal. Not just to survive, but to win. While agents questioned Miranda and Tyler, I slipped out of the lobby and headed straight to HR. If they truly planned to frame me, there would be paperwork ready. Termination forms, statements, maybe even fake reports already filed. I needed to get them before they could be used. The HR office was quiet. Most employees were watching the chaos downstairs. The HR manager, Mrs. Collins, sat alone, staring nervously at her computer. She jumped when she saw me. Lauren, you shouldn't be here. This is a legal matter now. Closed the door behind me. Exactly why I need to be. I walked to her desk slowly. You received documents about me, didn't you? Something Miranda asked you to process. She hesitated, then opened a drawer. My stomach twisted. There it was. A termination report. A written confession. Even a prepared press statement announcing that I had been caught leading illegal operations. All ready to destroy my name. Mrs. Collins whispered. I didn't want to sign these. Miranda said I had no choice. My voice softened. You still have a choice. She looked at me scared. Are they going to arrest her? Most likely, I said. And Tyler too. She exhaled in relief, then handed me the entire file. I'll testify, she said. I'm tired of being afraid. He nodded. Thank you. As I walked out with the evidence in my hand, I felt something shift inside me. For weeks I'd been running. Now I was fighting back. And winning. By the time I returned to the lobby, the agents were escorting Miranda and Tyler toward the elevators. Miranda spotted me. Her eyes burned with rage. This isn't over, she hissed. You think you're safe. You're nothing without us. For the first time I smiled at her. I was nothing because of you, I said softly. Now I get to decide who I become. Tyler tried to lunge toward me, but an agent held him back. You ruined everything, he shouted. No, I replied. You ruined yourselves. As the elevator doors closed, Miranda's final words echoed. You'll fall with us. But I didn't believe her. 'Cause I had the proof. The truth. And people who finally supported me. Ethan stood beside me, still shaking. I can't believe this is real. It's real, I said. But we're not finished. We met with the lead agent who explained the next steps. Your evidence will be reviewed. We'll need statements. It may go to trial. He nodded. Whatever it takes. As the agents left, the office fell silent. Employees stared at me, not with pity this time but with respect. Some even whispered. She took them down. She saved us. I felt a strange mix of pride and sadness. I never wanted any of this. I just wanted my job, my life, my dignity. But they had tried to destroy me. And now their entire empire was collapsing. Still, one question remained. Who sent that warning message? Because that person changed everything. And I needed to know why. The next day, I received a text from the unknown number. Meet me. Parking garage. Level 2. Alone. Ethan begged me not to go, but I had to. If someone inside the warehouse had helped me, I needed answers. The garage was dim and quiet. Footsteps echoed. Then a figure stepped out from behind a pillar. My breath caught. It was the warehouse worker, the woman who had warned me to leave that night. Her name tag flashed in the low light. Maria. You, I whispered. She nodded. I saw what they were doing months ago. They paid me extra to load certain boxes, no questions. But then, drugs started showing up. People I knew got hurt. Her voice shook. I tried to speak up. They threatened my family. Said they'd blame me like they're blaming you. My heart twisted. So you warned the authorities? She nodded. I sent anonymous reports, but no one listened until you started digging. When I saw you that night, I knew you were in danger. I had to act. I stepped closer. You saved me. No, she said. You saved all of us. They used this company to hide crime. Now it's over. I pulled out the HR file. Not yet. We need full statements. From everyone they threatened. She swallowed, then nodded firmly. I'll testify. As she walked away, I felt a powerful realization. This wasn't just my fight. It was bigger. People had suffered because Miranda and Tyler were greedy and cruel. Now they would face justice. 2 months later, the courtroom was packed. Reporters lined the halls. Miranda and Tyler sat at the defense table, pale and defeated. Their expensive lawyers whispered urgently, but nothing could save them now. Witness after witness spoke. Warehouse workers, managers, HR staff, even the CFO, who turned on them to save himself. When my name was called, the room quieted. I walked to the stand, shoulders back, no longer the scared assistant who hid in hallways. I told the truth. How they demoted me. How they used my name. How they planned to destroy me. When I finished, Miranda stared at me with pure hatred. But I felt nothing. The judge reviewed the evidence. The verdict came swift. Guilty. Trafficking. Fraud. Conspiracy. Miranda burst into tears. Tyler slammed his fist against the table. But it didn't matter. Justice was served. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed me. Lauren, how does it feel? Do you plan to return to the company? What's next for you? I smiled, feeling free for the first time in years. I'm starting my own consulting firm, I said. A place where talent is valued, not used. Ethan joined me, grinning. And she's hiring me. I laughed. The sun felt warm on my face. They tried to break me. They tried to erase me. Instead, they pushed me to become stronger, smarter, unstoppable. As we walked away, I whispered to myself. They demoted me to assistant. And I discovered their biggest secret.